Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High Christ bless. Can y'all hear and see me? Let me know. Drop a comment if you can hear and see me. Okay, all right. Looks like we're good to go. Hey, I'm Officer Raywell from IUIC Raleigh. Hey, here with you for some history in the morning. We got an interesting topic today. We're dealing with the aftermath of abuse in the Bible. So, just a couple instances of abuse, not only from the heathen, but also from our own people. And then we'll tie it into some modern day history. With some articles about what's going on in just recent events. I'll say the past 20 years. Across the world, really. Even in America. I'm going to deal with the UAE, United Arab Emirates. And, and the origins of this abuse, going back to the scriptures. Sometimes we're affiliated in it. And sometimes it's Edom. Sometimes it's Ishmael. Also, biblical solutions to it. We're going to deal with some of all of that today. So again, Officer Raywell, IUIC Raleigh. Let's start this off with Psalms, chapter 144, in verse 12. Psalms, chapter 144, and verse 12. That our sons may be as plants, grown up in their youth, that our daughters may be as cornerstones, polished after the similitude of a palace. So I'm going to read that again. It says, that our sons may be as plants grown up in their youth. That's what we want. Plants grown up in their youth. It's talking about strength. We want our sons and daughters to have strength that they gather in their youth. There's nothing worse than broken men and broken women. And then you have to start the process all over again, which is what we have to deal with today. That's why we teach on the streets. That's why we teach online. And we go to the hoods, the neighborhoods, and we find the broken of our people to restore strength in them. It says that our sons may be as plants grown up in their youth, that our daughters may be as cornerstones, polished after the similitude of a palace, which is the ultimate goal. Polished after the similitude of a palace. If you think about a palace, palaces are vast and grand, covered with diamonds and gold. Old school palaces, not the stuff today. I'm talking about stuff like the stuff you find in the Vatican, stuff you'll find in the Kremlin. The Kremlin is like gold everywhere. Down there, the Vatican is a country within a country, and the buildings are, even the white folks that go in there, it's unfathomable to them how grand and glorious these buildings are. And that should be our daughters. They should be decked out like a palace. Jewels, ornaments. That's the outside. And then inside, they should have that spirit of modesty and shamefacedness. There should be the glory of the Lord upon them. But we don't have that today. But the ultimate goal is to have this again. So, let's see how everything kind of got diminished. Let's go to one of the earliest instances of abuse in the Bible. This is Genesis 34. If I were to ask you how many kids Jacob had, you might forget this child. He had one daughter. Genesis chapter 34, verse 1. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah. So Dinah was the daughter of Leah. Leah also had Issachar and Judah. It says, and Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. Now, therein lies the issue right there. Independent spirit. Who told you to go anywhere? You just don't go out by yourself. What happens when sisters go out by themselves, not nowhere in America today, and the white man is giving you certain protections, where you virtually are accompanied everywhere you go with the call of 911. But they don't always get to you. Sometimes somebody's going to get to you before 911 can save you. But back in the day, your 911 would be your brothers, your father, your male relatives, your family that you would travel with and keep you safe. There would be the caravan you were with. You go out. You would have strength in numbers. Not, I'm going to go out and I got this phone where I'm going to call the heathen or call the governmental network the heathen set up to save me. It says, and Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. See what happens next. It says, and when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, this is a Hamite. Hivites or Hamites. Matter of fact, let me get you some of this history real quick. I do have a few pictures. This isn't zoomed in, but my apologies. Hopefully y'all can read this. I'll read it to you. It's at the bottom. It's Dinah. This is from the book called Who's Who in the Bible. Dinah, daughter of Jacob and Leah, and sister of Simeon and Levi. She was raped by Shechem. So make no misunderstanding. She was raped. She was raped by Shechem, son of Hamor, the ruler of Shechem. All right. There are camps that teach rape. There are Israelite BHI camps. I'm not even calling you Israelite camps. You don't get more than the acronym BHI. That's all you are. That teach you can rape. We're going to go through and see rape is a vile, evil thing. Prevalent not only from the heathen in the scriptures, the heathen up to today, and they've integrated our people into what's known as sex trafficking as a front to cover up the face of the true monsters of that thing. So going back to Genesis 34:2. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and defiled her. That's called rape. Did anybody get out of that this is a good thing? That this is one of the possible methods of marriage? Took her and lay with her and defiled her. No, that's nasty. That's evil. Anyone that does that or says you can do that is the damn devil the Bible speaks of. Let's go to the book of Judith, where it briefly recaps this. It talks about it as well. Judith chapter 9 and verse 2. It says, O Lord God of my father Simeon. So we just read Dinah is the sister of Simeon. It mentioned them in the Who's Who in the Bible because there's a specific interaction that happens because their sisters defiled. And we're going to read through and touch on their history. It says, O Lord God of my father Simeon, to whom thou gavest a sword to take vengeance of the strangers, who loosed the girdle of a maid to defile her. They took her clothes off to rape her. And discovered the thigh of her shame, and polluted her virginity to her reproach. So that's evil. For thou saidest, it shall not be so, and yet they did so. Wherefore thou gavest their rulers to be slain, so that they dyed their bed in blood, being deceived, and smotest the servants with their lords, and the lords upon their thrones, and hast given their wives for a prey, and their daughters to be captives, and all their spoils to divide it among thy dear children. So I'm going to drop that for a second. I'm going to come back to it later. I'm going to go back to Genesis 34. Genesis chapter 34, verse 3. So the rape happens. And I don't know if YouTube's going to do something funny from the video. I'm going to just say S.A. from now on. S.A. The assault happens. Verse 3. And his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel. Now that's not real love. That's lust. And he loved the damsel and spake kindly unto the damsel. Now he couldn't do without her. He wanted her real, real bad. Let's get that real quick in the history of Susanna. You're going to read the same type of verbiage there in the history of Susanna. But it ain't love. A lot of the relationships we have in this world, before you get in this truth, I hope the Lord's will, before you don't want to be in this truth with the same spirit. But it's lust. It has nothing to do with love. But it's a powerful feeling. Let's see. History of Susanna. and it's verse 10. So, the history of Susanna, chapter 1, only one chapter, verse 10. This is the two men that stalked and were, I think the word is called voyeur. I don't think that's French or something to spy on. I think they also call it peeping Tom. Peeping Tom, voyeur. What's some other words for that? Just being nasty. Nasty Negroes. These are Israelites. Nasty Negroes. I'm going to start at verse 8, matter of fact. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, there dwelt a man in Babylon called Joachim, and he took a wife whose name was Susanna. So this is a married woman. The daughter of Chelcias, a very fair woman, and one that feared the Lord. Her parents also were righteous, and taught their daughter according to the law of Moses. Now Joachim was a great rich man, and had a fair garden joining unto his house, and to him resorted the Jews, because he was more honorable than all others. So this man is of good reputation and everything. Married to this beautiful woman. The same year were appointed two ancients of the people. These are old Negroes. Old niggas. Two ancients of the people to be judges in their prominent position. They're looked to for judgment. People bring matters to these two evil Negroes. Such as the Lord spake of, that wickedness came from Babylon from ancient judges, who seem to govern the people. So it just looks like they're in charge, but really it's evil. That's your Christian church today as well. That's your politicians today as well. Often corrupt. Not every single one of them, but often corrupt. And the corruption be nastiness. I think it was a couple years ago. Someone ended up with a video of people doing lewd acts inside of a congressional building. They did like a video. I think it was homosexual stuff too. Sodomite activity. And they made a video of it inside the place where we're supposed to govern everything. Same spirit. The people in charge, because God doesn't have his people ruling, as is prophesied in Daniel chapter 7, verse 27. The kingdom of God is not set up. Nasty, lewd people run the earth, and you're going to find lewdness in all levels of government and all your judges. There'll be some lewdness there. So no different here during the history of Susanna. It says, verse 6, these kept much at Joachim's house. Now, why do you think they hung out there? It says, these kept much at Joachim's house, and all that had any suits in law came unto them. So they came to them for legal opinions, legal counsel. Now when the people departed away at noon, Susanna went unto her husband's garden to walk. And the two elders saw her going in every day. What y'all doing? Why y'all looking at her every day? Nasty. Same spirit on the man that raped Dinah. The same. So let me go back to that real quick. Genesis 34 verse 2. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her. So he's seen her. It wasn't just once. He saw her and he let them eyes rest on her. He said he took her and lay with her and defiled her. That's not love. Now going back, history of Susanna, chapter 1, verse 8. And the two elders saw her going in every day and walking, so that their lust was inflamed toward her, and they perverted their own mind. They got down and nasty. So we see that with the heathen, and we see that with Israel. They perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven. It means they're not going to look in the scriptures for the solution. There'll be no prayer involved. There's no fasting involved, because we all battle spirits. And prayer and fasting are the solutions. Counsel, confession of faults are the solutions. You'll see none of that applied here. They'll just hide their wickedness, even from heaven, even from God. So they're not going to God for their lust. They're just bathing in it. It says they turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven, nor remember just judgments. So now they just fools. They don't even remember the Bible anymore. And albeit they both were wounded with her love. So this is why I went here. They both, it says love, but that's not love, is it? That's lust. They said they were wounded with it. It's so bad on them, they were wounded with it. But it doesn't make any sense. That's a married woman. You're two old, decrepit Negroes. There's two of y'all. What? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any biblical sense. That's how you know it's lust. If there's no biblical way this is working out, if you're involved with a sister and y'all in the DMs, and there's no biblical way this is going, because you're supposed to have a proven process, it should be a secret. You shouldn't be with a man secretly. No man should be talking to you secretly. You shouldn't be flirted with secretly, sisters. There should be no, you know how you have the stories on Instagram, you have stories on Facebook, I think even Telegram and other apps will allow you to have a story. And if a person replies to that story or puts emoji on your story, it begins a private conversation between you two. No man should be having a private conversation with you that no one is aware of if you're in the body. But it happens all the time. Because lust is inflamed. There's no biblical way that's working out. It will become a backdoor marriage. It will destroy you both. Going back to verse 10, it says, and albeit they both were wounded with her love, yet durst not one show another his grief. So they kept it secret from one another for a time. For they were ashamed to declare their lust. So that's what it is. When you're shameful, you know it's evil. Now, the heathen ain't going to be ashamed. They're just going to do it. But Israel, sometimes we have a conscience. I don't want to talk about this. I DM'd the sister. Yeah, she's at my house. Yeah, I went to drop off some stuff to get fringed. Like, are you stupid? Are you stupid? You think we stupid? We know what happens next. I got a series of text messages that become more and more vulgar as you go up or go down. Don't scroll. There's stuff in there. It's lust. It's not love. For they were ashamed to declare their lust. So that's the love it was talking about in verse 10. Remember, verse 10, it says, I'm reading 10 again. And albeit they both were wounded with her love, yet durst not show one another his grief, for they were ashamed to declare their lust. That's what that is. That's what the Hivite had. Lust, that they desired to have to do with her. Yet they watched diligently from day to day to see her. And the one said to the other, let us now go home, for it's dinner time. So when they were going out, they parted the one from the other, and turning back again, they came to the same place. And after that, they asked one another the cause. They acknowledged their lust, then appointed a time both together when they might find her alone. So finally, they were like, all right, go home. Good night. Good night. Good night. Yeah, good night. And he's just walking away slowly and he's waiting. Like, good night. Yeah, good night. Shalom. Shalom. And he's like way away and he's still looking around the corner. And it's like 5 minutes past, and they both come back. You're like, are you here for the? I'm here. She bad, ain't she? Yeah, she is bad. That's how evil nigga connection. And some of y'all might be having conversations like that now. There was a brother before, many years ago. Won't say his name, but he had a very worldly demeanor. He was very lustful. He would often try to prove sisters and would not even know their name. He would approach us in leadership and be like, I want to prove this sister. We'd be like, brother, what is her name? I don't know her name. No. Get the hell away from her. He was new. Even when he had even, rank, not trying to get rank, not attending things. He was sending deceptive, how would you say? He was sending weird Christianity messages to people, trying to get them to follow the truth. It was all kinds of crazy stuff with that brother. Turns out he had a secret sex group that met at the barbershop, and they had that text thread, and all they would talk about is their sexcapades and the things how they used to lay down all these women. Like, and that's the kind of dude you are. And you trying to bring that in as the truth. Like, nah, ain't gonna work. We'll sniff you out. You full of lust. You gotta repent. So let's go back. So I'm not gonna get all the history, Suzanne. But what they end up doing is accusing this sister. And she beats the case because you got the young prophet Daniel. But let's go back to Dinah. Genesis 34. I just went there really for 2 verses, but I ended up reading that whole history. Sorry. Genesis 34, verse 3. And his soul, now we're talking about Shechem, the Hamite, the Hivite. And his soul clave unto Dinah, the damsel, of the daughter of Jacob. And he loved the damsel. Now we read that's not love. He was obsessed with her. He lusted after her. That's how a lot of y'all be getting your behinds beat in these relationships, because you take lust, the obsession with you, the love of how you feel, because he wants something. He wants you to stay there like a dog. You understand? Like a car. But it's not true love. Like, he's beating you. He loves me. No, he doesn't. He's obsessed with you. He's jealous of you. He's jealous over you. That ain't love. It says, and he loved the damsel and spake kindly unto the damsel. And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, get me this damsel to wife. So now he's like, I want to marry her. I don't know if you've known anybody in an interracial relationship. The few black women I've known to be in those relationships were beaten. They were it was the sweetheart from high school, They were with an Edomite, and they both received some type of butt whooping. I'm gonna go back three of them that I can name off the top of my head. Two were, I know one for sure punched in the face. The other one I know is get called the N-word. Everybody got called the N-word. Off gate, you marry Esau, you getting called the N-word in some form or fashion. The third one, she almost got ran over by the dude. He's a psychopath. They're all psychopaths. And he tried to run her over. But they all were trying to they all ended up marrying white people. Edomites. Do if you want to. You know they get boats for a reason. Esau has a boat for a reason. It's not to go fishing. It's to get rid of you. It's harder to find the body in water. Y'all keep doing that if you want. Verse 4, Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, Get me this damsel to wife. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come. So Jacob heard about this thing. It says, Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him. So they had a meeting between the fathers. And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they had heard it. And the men were grieved, and they were very wroth, because he had wrought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done. Think about our fathers. These are all our fathers, you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All the race you would have today. Think about all of our fathers. Gad, you Native Americans, you so-called West Indians, you so-called Puerto Ricans. All of our fathers, the patriarchs of all of our households, were together, and their sister was defiled. How mad were they? You see, our dad, I'm saying our like I was there, but you know what I'm saying. They were like, dang, dad over there talking to this dude. We're going to slaughter all of them. But watch this. Verse 7, verse 8. And Hamor communed with them, saying, The soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. Boy, you gonna get the hell out of my face? What's he talking about with our sister? I'm gonna kill this dude. The soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you give her him to wife, and make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. The hell? No! You tripping? No, nobody's going for that. Nobody's going for that. It says, I'm going to get Deuteronomy 7:3. How would you take this? Read the history of the Bible, and how would you come out with, yeah, we can interracially marry? You don't get that from this history of the Bible. There's nowhere in the Bible you can just go and be like, yeah, interracial marriage worked out on that occasion. That's a good example for the rest of the Israelites. We've been doing it wrong the whole time. No, it's always bad. And the few people that got mercy, like Moses, he was Moses. Everybody ain't Moses. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3 is verse 1. I'm going to start with that. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. Here's the law on it. And it's going to deal with the Hivites. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and has cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than now. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Utterly annihilate these people. How don't you dare marry them? There's none of them left. Remember, I told you to utterly annihilate them. How can you marry what's been annihilated? You gonna marry the dead bodies? No, they're all dead, because I told you to get rid of them and not make no agreements with them. The covenant will also be the covenant of marriage. The wedding covenant, the wedding papers. Don't make no covenant with them. I said kill them all. That's what the Lord said at that time. So hell no, you're not going to marry them. And it's the same law that persists to this day. Though we're not going out to actively war against the nations, but spiritually we are at war against the nations. Have no dealings with them, because inside their mind, even though they say it's love, it's a deep, nasty desire and lust. And that's what we're talking about in today's class. When we go back. Did I finish that? Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter, like Dinah, thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Now, this is a commandment that dates back further to the book of Genesis. I'm going to get there real quick. I ain't going to go too deep. Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. The origin of that, it says, And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God, that's our lineage. The sons of God lineage comes down from who? Seth. Down that lineage all the way to Noah. That lineage saw the sons of men, which is the other people. It says that the sons of God saw the daughters of men. So this is interracial marriage. There's a lineage of alphas. I'll just say that. From Alpha Adam, it's a lineage of alphas. And then they saw the daughters of regular men who are meant to serve and obey the sons of God. And then they took daughters out of regular men. It says, then they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. At that point, we further lose immortality. We already lost it through Adam. But then he's cutting down the lifespan more. There's no more Methuselah. There's no more of that. You're gonna live shorter and shorter lives. It's capped off at 120 days. Now, not lose the point, go back to Genesis 34. Just went there to deal with the heathen and heathen relations. There's no such thing. Yes, they'll say, I love you. They might pass a polygraph, but their actions are going to show who they are. The N-word's coming. It's coming. It might come in a delightful way where you like it. Or y'all doing stuff in the bedroom and he's calling you N-word for fun. He's dressed like a cowboy or something and you're dressed like a cow, something crazy. Or it's going to be in that argument where the buttons finally get pushed and you a whole N-word. He going to say it with the hard R too. It's going to be a capital hard R at the end. Or vice versa. You get with a white woman, she can call you nigga all day. You gonna like it. Genesis chapter 34, verse 9. And make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. That's forbidden. It's been forbidden since right after the garden. Never do that. And ye shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade ye therein, and get you possessions therein. So, have a whole network and a fabric of... No, we're not doing it. No, you just raped my sister. No, nobody's buying this. It says, verse 11, and Shechem said unto her father and unto her brethren, let me find grace in your eyes, and what ye shall say unto me I will give. Ask me never so much dowry and gift, and I will give according as ye shall say unto me, but give me the damsel to wife. He said, hey, name your price, y'all. Yeah, some ugly business happened, but name your price. And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor, his father, deceitfully. Oh, we'll tell you how much it costs. And said, because he had defiled Dinah, their sister. And they said unto them, we cannot do this thing to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. So physically, you're not circumcised like we are. That's the covenant we have with Abraham. But this is all deceit. He says, it's a setup, bro. He said, but in this we will consent unto you. He said, if ye will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised, then we will give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. Sound good? It says, but if you will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then we will take our daughter, and we will be gone. So that's your choice. So the dude, obviously, he's burning. He's real hot for the sister. He's begging his father, I'll do it. Let's do it. We'll just get everybody circumcised. It's just a little snip. Be fine. I don't think they had ice back then. Unless it snowed. So it'll be fine. We'll just go lay somewhere. No, it will not be fine. Hamor. No, Shechem, it will not be fine. Watch this, verse 18. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. And the young man deferred not to do the thing because he had delight in Jacob's daughter, and he was more honorable than all the house of his father. And Hamor and Shechem, his son, came unto the gate of their city and communed with the men of the city, saying, these men are peaceable with us. Therefore let them dwell in the land and trade therein for the land. Behold, it is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only herein will the men consent unto us for to dwell with us, to be one people, which is against God's commandment. If every male among us be circumcised, as they are circumcised. So we got to meet their conditions, y'all. Y'all ready? Line up. Shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? You see the motivation behind it? It's about plundering. They want your resources. They want your spoils. You will not exist there as equal people. He says all their stuff will be ours, including their women. Matter of fact, let me show you I'm going to go back. Didn't plan on going here. This reminds me of Judith. Judith chapter, I want to say it's 10. Yep, Judith chapter 10. Look at this right here, verse 18. Now Judith, beautiful woman, also of the tribe of Simeon, beautiful woman. She real bad. She real bad. Fasted all that, The heathen saw her. Watch what their mind goes to. Watch the mentality of this. And we're going to, again, in this history I'm going to pull, Lord's will, it's going to show you they use our women as merchandise. And it's always been like that. Judith chapter 10, verse 18. Then was there a concourse throughout all the camp. For her coming, Judith's coming, her coming was noised among the tents. That thing spread like social media before there was a computer. Everybody knew. Hey, she coming. Y'all gonna see, whistling, whatever. Cat calls. Look at her. She coming. Y'all ain't gonna believe this. It says, and they came about her as she stood without the tents of Holofernes, till they told him of her. That's a heathen. Holofernes. And they wondered at her beauty, and admired the children of Israel because of her. You say, dang. Wow. How the sister is so beautiful that a whole nation is admired. And we got like a bunch more of those over here. We the best nation on the planet. And it says, who would, it said, and wondered at her beauty, and admired the children of Israel because of her. And everyone said to his neighbor, who would despise this people that have among them such women? Surely it is not good that one man of them be left, who being let go might deceive the whole earth. A whole council is taking place right there. It's a think tank. It's not just, ooh, she bad. Like dumb Negroes. They look at we'll just look at somebody and, ooh, she bad. I want to do something to her. No. They said, ooh, she bad. We want to do something to her. And we're going to have to kill all the men. And everybody's like, yeah, you're right. You're going to have to kill all. No one's just like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. No, they all are like, we're going to have to kill all the men. You guys down? Yeah, we're going to have to kill. I know what you're talking about. Because if you let these men go with these kind of women, they'll rule the whole earth. Clearly, look at the ugly, scraggly looking women we got. Because we're scraggly looking. Look at the women they got because they're gods. And the women that come of them are beautiful like that. We can't let them. You guys ready? We're going to kill everybody. That's the mindset of the heathen when they see beautiful women of Israel. Kill all the men. We can't leave no men alive. Obviously, what do you say? We're way out of their league. Our women are way out of their league. Our women are in our league. Therefore, we are competition. It's like, get rid of all of them. We got to get rid of all of them. Now, I'm going to go back. So that's the mindset mentality. Don't fall for the okie doke. There's no love between the heathen. It's all planned. Every thought is strategic because they're not destroyed like we are. We're destroyed. We just see what's in front of us. Ooh, pretty girl. They see, ooh, pretty Israelite. Going to have to kill all the men, though. Going to have to kill all the men. Make sure all the children identify themselves as me. Put my name on everything. That's how they think. Now we're going back to Genesis. Yep, I see in the comments, just like Killers of the Flower Moon. Yes, there's always an ulterior motive. Excellent point. Look at Killers of the Flower Moon. They ain't there because they love them Gadak women, and Gadak women were beautiful. And it's heavy in the spirit by saying that, because that's what I'm going to deal with first, is Gadite women. And what they did to Gad. But let me finish. Let me get through this before it be 6 o'clock, and I ain't touch on nothing. Where did I leave off at? Genesis chapter 34 and verse 23. Shall not our cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? Only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us. And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearken all that went out of the gate of his city. And every male was circumcised. So everybody got chop. All that went out of the gate of his city. And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, because that mess probably hurt. I don't know, I was a kid. Thank God. I can only imagine. I've heard report from brothers that got it done. You down for a couple weeks. You down. That's what modern medicine. That's what the 800s, morphine or whatever they give you after that. You got an IV, and you still down for weeks. So back then, you down. You not doing nothing. You ain't picking up no sword. You ain't getting out of bed. And that's a whole nation. That's your whole army. Look at the forefathers. They already knew that. They said they're going to be down. And that's Levi and Simeon. Shout out to Levi and Simeon. So-called Haitians and so-called Dominicans. Shout out to those brothers. It says, and it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword, and came upon the city boldly, and slew all the males. And they slew her more. You're going to kill the daddy, doing all that negotiation. They couldn't wait. I can't wait to kill your ass. How the hell you going to come talking about, ooh, Mary, I'm going to get him. It says, and they slew her more, and Shechem, you know they killed that dude horribly, his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house and went out. So they had to go get their sister. Crazy. And the sons of Jacob came upon the slain and spoiled the city because they had defiled their sister. And they took their sheep and their oxen and their asses and that which was in the city and that which was in the field and all their wealth and all their little ones and their wives took they captive and spoiled even all that was in the house. And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi. Now Jacob was there bugging out. Jacob was like, because you know, Simeon and Levi, a prophecy came about regarding them and this slaughter. It's prophetic throughout all time what they did. So that was a very great slaughter. It's very minute here, only just a few verses, but that was a crazy slaughter. A whole city eliminated, and it was no fighting back. They just slaughtered people. One of the greatest slaughters in all the Bible. It was so bad. It's like, come, children. Let me tell you what befalls in the last days. Remember how you killed all those people? The predecessors, children thousands of years ago, were we known for that attribute. Whew. So we go to verse 30. And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, ye have troubled me to make me stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. Now they're the family of the Hamites. We just killed their brothers, the Hivites. There's a whole lot of them, and they're mighty people, as we read in Deuteronomy 7:3. Jacob's like, you gonna get mine killed out here. You see what you did? And you did it deceitfully. You lied to these dudes. You get me messed up, man. It's a black father. You got me messed up, man. You got me stinking out here. What they gonna do to me? It says, ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And I, being few in number, ain't no massive army at this time. I being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, I and my house. And they said, now the brothers was like, listen, it says, should he deal with our sister as with a harlot? That's rape. That's sex trafficking. That's what we're going to talk about in this class. The abuse and the aftermath of it. They're like, okay, but listen, we ain't going to let him deal with our sister like a harlot. Same with us. We're not going to let the people of this planet deal with our sisters like harlots. Now, I'm not saying wage no literal war, don't get no guns. No. But a spiritual war must be waged. We must redeem our sisters from this bondage they're in, called sex trafficking, human trafficking, prostitution, being a hoe, being a thought. Is 304. Is a very little wiggle room before you're actually in the sex trade. Very, very small wiggle room. Some people will say OnlyFans is the sex trade. Because you might be doing that thing against your will. But we're not going to deal with that. We're going to deal more with, like I was saying earlier. Oh, let's go during 22 and 23 real quick. Now, you might be a window shopper and you came here from your other camp videos. You might watch other camps. And that other camp teaches rape. Run! Get the hell out of there, man. Knock a glass over and just run. Do not stay there. These people crazy. Nothing we read justifies rape. Nothing. These people that teach that are decrepit and they probably work for the CIA. I'm just saying. My personal opinion. Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 23. Here's backup for that. It says, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed to one husband, so she's promised to a man, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, have sex with her, then you shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and you shall stone them with stones that they die. So they end up laying together. The damsel, because she cried not. That highlight that in your Bible, underline that in the Bible. That's the delineation. That's the difference between rape and not rape. That woman don't cry out. Because a lot of women, the Me Too movement got a lot of, especially Caucasian Edomite women. But she didn't cry when it was going on. Bill Cosby got like, I forgot how many women. It's like 19 women. Ain't none of them cry out. Don't blame the Quaaludes either. None of them crying out. You can't tell me that. Or the police would have been called. A police report would have been filed. You wouldn't come back about 30 years later looking for justice in a big mob, or looking for money in a big mob because, all of a sudden the man wants to buy an NBC. So the damsel, because she cried not, she had to die. Being in the city, and the man, because he had humbled his neighbor's wife. So shalt thou put evil away from among you. You had to get rid of evil that way. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. That means she cried out. Because it's putting that word force to indicate the same action happened. But now she had to cry out because this was against her will. This is rape. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. Verse 28. Now here's where the stupid camps come in, and they'll try to twist the scriptures because they're perverts. Weird perverts. Remember Bishop's class about two weeks ago? And he showed a bunch of videos, and the dude was sitting there and was like, man, you never thought about busting women outside her head and cutting her neck a little bit? Then you crazy. You've done that before. You out on parole. You shouldn't even be talking like that. Ain't part of your parole not to be on camera. That's the kind of thing you gotta look for with some of these brothers. Ain't part of your parole not to be on camera. Why are you on camera? Should you be by that school? Get away from them black Hebrew Israelite camps, them BHI. Verse 28, it says, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin and not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found. There's no indication of no rape going on here. They're not talking about that. It would say that she cried out. It would have used those words. Lay hold on her. We're going to show you what that means. It says, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. You see, that didn't happen with Dinah. The dude tried to propose. Hey, how much money you want? The brother's like, hell no. This ain't what that is. You raped my sister. This ain't what that is. This ain't no, they flirted and things went too far. This ain't no, he just entangled her in her mind. No, you raped my sister. You got to die. And you see the judgment above for rape is death. It ain't no, I'll pay money, I get out of this. Here's the proof. Give me Exodus 22 and 16. Here's what this is. This is the precept for all you that follow bum camps. People that wear bed sheets to camp. Here's the precept. Exodus chapter 22, verse 16. Watch the wording. It says, if a man entice a maid, same things lay a hold on. If you entice a maid that is not betrothed, she's not promised to no one already, and lie with her. So you can trance her with your words. You can glamour her like a vampire. Now all she thinks about is you. It's so much so that she skips the proving process. And lie with her. He shall surely endow her to be his wife. There was no rape there. I hate to say entanglement, but basically, they got in a relationship, they skipped a step, and now you definitely got to make that your wife. It's a shotgun wedding. If her father utterly refused to give her unto him because it was done out of order, not because it was a rape, it was done out of order, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. So there was a certain cost. And you still see that instituted in some parts of Africa, and maybe other nations as well. I can just think of Africa off the top of my head. I forget if it was Ghana or wherever. But they still institute that practice where, hey, you did it out of order. There was no wedding feast. You did it back door. Pay me money. Because you taking my daughter up. My daughter had value. And you've taken that value. You've now changed it into yours. And you skipped the process. You owe me some money. That's not, oh, you raped my daughter. Pay me some money. And I'll forgive you. No. That's stupid. That's BHI stuff. Now, I'm going to go to, I hope that made sense to everybody. Pray that made sense to everybody. Let's go to my first little, it's not necessarily an article. It's more of a research paper, I believe. It's from vawnet.org. Maybe a bit hard for you guys to read. I'll read it for you because it's a whole page. And I'm not great at getting content displayed on here yet. Yeah, it's tiny. Sorry, it's tiny. Yeah, it's so small I can't read it. Give me a sec. Let me pull it up on my phone and I'll read it to you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go to the next one. Because I do have it zoomed in. So, the title of this research paper is Native Sex Trafficking. It's a PDF about Native American sex trafficking. So I'm going to go to this highlighted portion here. Those where y'all can see this a lot easier. It says, the FBI recently noted, I'm in the green portion now. There have been traffickers and pimps who specifically target Native girls because they feel that they're versatile and they can post them online as Hawaiian, as Native, as Asian, as you name it. The Native Americans, so-called, are the tribes of Gad and Reuben. And you can also take it further and say Issachar, Zebulon, because those are also so-called Indians you'll find on this side. And going further to South America. But right now I'm just dealing with North America. They're popular, like in areas like South Dakota and North Dakota. Also further west. Because that's where you find a lot of natives. They were moved there during the Trail of Tears. A lot of them. The whole America belonged to the Native Americans. This may be a shock to you. But white people colonized America and moved everybody around. Yeah, I know, surprise. But the Native American Indians in particular are used because they're so versatile, because of the features they adopted over the course of Assyrian captivity, going way back into the Bible where they intermingled with different people. I'm going to get Hosea 7 and 8 real quick. They look very exotic. They look like all nations. And they're very popular in the sex trade. It says, Ephraim have mixed, this is Hosea 7 and 8. Ephraim have mixed himself among the people. That's Northern Kingdom. Ephraim is a cake not turned. I'm going to go 1 Ezra 8 and 70. For those of you that might be apologists. And that doesn't mean that. All right, whatever. 1 Ezra chapter 8 verse 70. It's a precept for y'all. It says, for both they and their sons have married with their daughters, and the holy seed is mixed with the strange people of the land. When you get mixing, colors get changed, features, cheekbones, eyes get a little more chinky than usual. All those different hairs, the different texture. The holy seed, which is the Israelites, is mixed with the strange people of the land. The verse above tells you it's the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Edomites, etc. And from the beginning of this matter, the rulers and the great men have been partakers of this iniquity. Again, it is a sin. And it causes the different features. So back to Hosea 7 and 8. Ephraim, he have mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. So that's what the article is talking about. Native Americans, specific, not limited to them. We're going to other tribes. But Native Americans specifically are targeted because they can pass for Hawaiian. You go online, you go, oh, I got me Hawaiians. You don't like Hawaiians? Well, she's actually Asian. She's Japanese, or she's Chinese, or she's Arab. Because they can pass for a lot of things. We'll go to the next portion. It says, though the evidence is not conclusive, 2 studies based on national crime victim data have identified white males, Esau, white males as common perpetrators of sexual violence against Native women in the U.S. Surprise, your friendly neighborhood white man is a deviant. Hold on, let me get the scripture on that. How much time I got? Ooh, I'm running out of time. Let me go a little faster. I got to pull this. Spent a lot more time in that one. I might have to skip some stuff. I spent too long with Dinah. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. It says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, so-called white man, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. The part you want is fornicator or profane person. He's the originator. No one does fornication or perversion better than the so-called white man. He's the one behind it all. Now our people go and follow behind him into many hurtful and deceitful lusts. So it says, though the evidence is not conclusive, yes it is. 2 studies based on national crime victim data have identified white males as common perpetrators of sexual violence against Native women in the U.S. I'm jumping to the next paragraph. Researchers have termed the accumulated impact of these historical experiences generational trauma. So term means they've named the accumulated, meaning the gathered up impact of these historical experiences of Native American women being victimized by white men as generational trauma, meaning they're giving validity to the fact that this trauma that Esau did to us passes down to generations. I'm going to read it. It says, with increasing levels of trauma, response, and stress passed from parent to child over consecutive generations, Generational trauma has been identified as a major contributor to Native communities' extremely high rates of poverty, violent victimization, depression, suicide, substance abuse, and child abuse. That's heavy. So what's done to them passes down to their children, leading to depression, suicide, substance abuse, and child abuse, which leads to what? More sexual deviant behavior on behalf of our people who are now damaged goods. Going right back into the same system, and then it goes, and it just gets worse. You can see how it just gets worse and worse throughout the generations. Deuteronomy 32, I'm sorry. We'll speed up a little bit. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32. I'm sorry, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, that's us, we didn't listen to God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee, and overtake thee. Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Not just regular slavery. Sexual slavery. On the border. Right there in your strip mall. Right there on the corners. Out there in the casinos. Sons and daughters are given to another people. And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand. You'll be so destroyed you can't pull them out of that generational curse. Let me get verse 30. It says, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. That's what happens. You have a wife, or really, these women are destined to be your wives. These daughters were destined to grow up and be wives to your sons. But your sons and daughters are what? Given to another people. So then the natural course does not happen. A man does not marry a woman because that woman's been destroyed and taken into what we're going to read about, sex trafficking, taken into that life. Now she's no longer a wife for your son. His wife was taken from him, and another man lied with her. Many men have laid down with her. The woman that should be your sister. The woman that should glorify her people by her beauty. And in turn, glorify our Lord. Because we men are in the image of God. She is in the image of us. Through her, we glorify God. But then the glory of God is a harlot. Horrible stuff. Let me go to the next article. I'm going to go to Lamentations. I'm going to go to Lamentations 5. Lamentations chapter 5, verse 1. It says, remember, O Lord, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers. Our houses to aliens. You might think your literal house. Yes, definitely. Literal lands, literal houses. What's inside the house? Your family. What did we just read about? Your sons and daughters given to another people. Your wives will be taken and another man will lie with them. Your inheritance, your houses, be turned to strangers and aliens. It says, verse 3, we are orphans and fatherless. Why? Because we're taken out of that structure of a family. Now we are orphans and fatherless. Through wars, through crafty counsel, through what we're reading about, the construction of the sex trade, which begins way before America. It says, we have drunken our water for money, and our wood is sold unto us. So the same people that did this to the children also control your natural resources. Just like we read earlier in Genesis 34. So their cattle belong to us. This net would belong to us. It's also in Deuteronomy 28:33. Let me get that real quick. Deuteronomy 28:33. Right fast. It says, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors, all your resources, shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. That was what the people of the Hivites planned to do to our stuff if they were to integrate with us. They said that cattle will belong to us, and so on and so forth. We read in Judith, observing the beauty of our woman, they said it's not good to leave one man alive, which is what ended up happening to us because of the curse of Deuteronomy 28. All that came to pass. Yes, they did come and integrate with us. Yes, they did take our cattle. And yes, they did take our women. And they did kill the men so that we would not be in a family. They killed us. If they didn't kill us, they neutered us. They put us in Christianity and made us effeminate. And they locked the rest of us up in jail. And then the rest of the few remaining are playing video games. And then you got some prophets out here. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always, so that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. And that's how we are today. I can't believe our people are so jacked up and so messed up. Our sisters are so destroyed. Everybody dresses like a prostitute. Everybody today dresses like a 1990s prostitute. This stuff, you remember the 90s. If you drove around in a car during the 90s and you managed to see a streetwalker back then, she's wearing the clothes of today. She's wearing what they wear to church today. Same stuff. Tell me I'm lying. Go back to Lamentations chapter 5, verse 5. Picking up where we left off. Our necks are under persecution. It says, our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. We have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread. Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. These things are passed down. Deuteronomy 28:15 is passed down. Servants have ruled over us, and there is none that doth deliver us out of their hand. An inappropriate relationship is going on in the planet. Servants are ruling over their masters. That's what's going on right now. Servants are ruling over their masters, and they don't love us. They lust after us, and they destroy our people. Verse 10 is what I really want to get to. Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. Now, that means we black. We black, y'all, and the people in the Bible was black. Our skin was what? Black like an oven. And get a white man out of that, for real, though. Show me, what do you call it, Amalekite? The Jewish man. Show me the Hasidic Jew that fits that. It says, our skin, this is skin, was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. Hungry white people don't turn black. They don't. And the famine is referring to is during the Babylonian captivity. But that's besides the point. Verse 11. Here's my point. They ravished the women in Zion. Ravish means they raped them. During this time, during what was going on, all this persecution, they ravished the women. They raped the women in Zion. And the maids in the cities of Judah. Princes are hanged up by their hand. Where you find black people hanged? You find that all in America. That's our history. We were hung. Our women raped, and we was hung. That's slavery. The faces of elders were not honored. They took the young men to grind, to work, to slave, and children fell under the wood. You see that some, remember, I think it's in New York, there's a museum where they were showing the physical damage slavery did to the back of like a very small child. I forget the age, like 6 or 7, carrying bundles that were way too heavy for him, and it tore the muscle from the bone. Tore the muscle from the bone. Remember, headquarters talking about that several times, and that's just an example of how bad the slavery was. That it would tear muscle from bone, the things they would have young children do. It says, I'm gonna drop that for a second. We'll come back a little bit later. I think I want to go to Joel. Nope. Matter of fact, let's go back to the Native Americans. Go back to Gad and Reuben before I leave off of this. Then I'm going to go to the so-called Arab man. Prostitution on Native American reservations in North America. So this is an article. Sex trafficking on Native American reservations in the United States began in the 18th century. So here's the origins of it, family. I'm just reading straight down. As the American Revolution, with its patterns of relocation, chaos, and conquest of Native American populations, inspired periods of instability for years to come. This instability would then cause cycles of generational trauma. That's what we read earlier. Cycles of generational trauma, which created increased vulnerability to substance abuse, violence, poverty, and child neglect, therefore increasing their susceptibility to sex trafficking. And it's a plan. They planned it that way. Do it now, it'll increase the evil in them. They'll be destroyed by their sins, and we'll be able to keep them in this process because they benefit from it. They're nasty deviants, and it's also a means to control our resources, our labor, our minds. There's no revolting. You don't have a family. How can you have a family if all the women are whores? Now the paragraph starting with, it says, during the United States periods of rapid modernization in the 19th and 20th centuries, this vulnerability to sexual violence and trafficking heightened as native populations were being pushed into the sex trade. So this is hundreds of years now. This is a product of slavery. This is what happens when you have colonizers here. For the dude that says, we're better off with white folks here. Heard that on Clubhouse earlier tonight. That basically, because we were already Native Americans here, and then white men came here. The white man's not a bad guy. He came in peaceably because he couldn't take care of himself. Dwelt among us. That's the doctrine I gotta look out for from stupid black people. That somehow, because the people that say we was already here, we was Native Americans, that's what comes behind. Yo, we was already here, y'all. We all Native American. You gotta believe you Native American. And the white man wasn't that bad. But anyway, we all Native American. Hold on, what was that SH you just said? That's what comes behind it. The white man ain't that bad. Stop blaming him for your troubles. We're all black here. Blah, blah, blah. Watch out for that garbage. Going back to the article. During the United States periods of rapid modernization in the 19th and 20th centuries, this vulnerability to sexual violence and trafficking heightened as native populations were being pushed into the sex trade by traffickers from neighboring cities who preyed on these vulnerabilities and would promise a better future to their victims. Going back to the comment the sister had, Killers of the Flower Moon. All these fake promises. It says during the modern era, attempts to decrease the rate at which indigenous women and girls were sold into the sex trade were stagnant due to, well, I'm gonna drop it from there. It's cut off. And I'm gonna go to my next one. Not that one. Okay. All right. I'm going to deal with this systematic portion of it. Generational curses are also known as systematic. It says the systematic racism and disruption caused stress among Native families that led to dysfunctional circumstances in their home lives. Some of these dysfunctions included increased drug and alcohol use. Go to the reservation, count the alcoholics. Go to the reservations, see who's dealing meth and doing meth and other drugs like that. He's full of it. Full of it. Because they've been moved to the bathroom of America, their own house. We've been relegated, as per Bishop Yawasop would always say, the most noble people, the Native Americans, Gad and Reuben, were pushed to the bathroom known as reservations. It says some of these dysfunctions included increased drug and alcohol use, domestic violence, depression, PTSD, and neglect of children. And then you read down, it's cut off, unfortunately. These patterns of dysfunction traveled across generations as cycles. Esau know what he's doing. He know what he's doing. All right, watch this. It says, during the late 18th century, the American Revolution inspired a period of conquest, colonization, ongoing warfare, enslavement, and relocation of indigenous populations. Ravishing. Hold on, what's that word? Ravishing. Ravishing. Through native land colonizers would often buy and sell indigenous women and children for sex. Ravishing. I'm going to go back to Lamentations real quick. Read that. I'm going to keep that on the screen. Lamentations chapter 5, verse 11. They ravished the women in Zion and the maids in the cities of Judah. They ravished us. Again, it's cut off. I apologize. It says, many soldiers demanded sexual favors from native women, sexually assaulted them, and sold them for sex. That's been going on. That's the 18th century. Late 18th century, which would be the 1700s. That's the founding of America. America's founded on sex slavery. It is. It's an evil, evil, vile place. 608. Let's go to Joel 3 real quick. That's your so-called friendly neighborhood white man. But you already kind of know how he gets down. That shouldn't be a shock to you. Matter of fact, do I got one more? Yes, I got one more for, dealing with Esau. It says, as a result of these dysfunctions, native teens and women were at high risk for sexual violence and sex trafficking, even to this day. With increasing levels of substance abuse, poverty, and trauma, indigenous parents would often neglect their parental duties, pushing many teens into the sex industry. This is teenagers. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 are teenagers. Pushing many teens into the sex industry and increasing their vulnerability of being trafficked due to financial struggle and overall lack of guidance. Let me get Deuteronomy real quick. Let me find it. I think it's 29. Give me a second. Give me a second. I'll find that in a second. It says, this lack of guidance also caused teens to be unaware and also caused teens to be unaware and caused teens to be easily manipulated by traffickers who would often make promises of financial stability and a better life, knowing the dysfunctional home lives of indigenous teens. So that's what happened. They preyed on the fact that they've destroyed the family, the household, and it created a cycle. Leviticus 19:29. Leviticus 19:29. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore. That's what's going on. Through neglect and lack of really the commandments of God. Lack of knowledge of who they were. You were easily manipulated and fooled, and your family destroyed. The connection between you and your children broken. Because now the teenagers, who should be right there at your hip, learning from you the ways of adulthood, are snatched away from you. Still going on in the school system now. They break the bond between the parent and the child in the teenage years, when they start to change what's on TV. Whereas we grew up with certain shows, now they grew up with certain movies and shows, and they shift the culture and make it as if, oh, it's a generational thing. Your dad's just lame. Your mom's just a lame. She was just stuck up. We're in sexual freedom now. Things are not the way it used to be. Your mom's just not ready for that type of stuff. But really, it's to break the bond of the family. It says, do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom, and the land be full of wickedness. That's where we're at. You prostitute your children, you allow people to come through and manipulate and give promises of financial stability and a better life, because that's what this is. Sex trafficking is a bunch of promises, a bunch of lies. They break their covenant. Let me get that real quick. Psalms 50, I think. 55. Yeah. Psalms 55:20, it says, he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. That's the Native Americans. That's what we're reading. Native Americans, they didn't immediately wage war against them. They were fooled. He hath broken his covenant. It made promises to them. Now, we know about the land-related promises and the peace-related promises, but there are also promises of financial stability and a better life he made to young girls and young men. And then they put them in the sex trade and broke their promises. Got them addicted to drugs, threatened their life. We'll read about that as well with not just Esau, but with the Arab men. The words of their mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in their heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords, meant for our destruction. I'm going to go to Joel 3 now. Definitely not going to get through all this. We'll see. Joel chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people, and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land. The land is parted between Arabs and Esau. And they have cast lots for my people, Arabs and Esau. They have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot. So boys have been made into breeders, and they've had sex with the boys. And sold a girl for wine. She now has a monetary value. Her virginity, her sexuality is now priced that they might drink, that they might party with them. That's their parties, which they still have today. Watch this. So, we read about Esau already. So, who also parted the land? The Arab man. But I'm going to see, he's crafty with his. Now, this is the same way it goes down here. So this example, I'll pull it up. This example is for both Esau, all nations that do sex trafficking. You'll find a black face to take the fall. This is one of the black faces. This is pretty recent. I forget the date. It says how torture, deception, and inaction underpin the UAEs. That's United Arab Emirates. It's not a black place. Black people are there. But this is an Arab place. It says thriving sex trafficking industry. It's thriving. It's thriving. It's doing well. It's thriving. Stocks are up. Let's see. All right, this might be hard for you guys to read. I apologize. Didn't zoom it in enough. But I got some closer pictures. I'll just read this to you if you can't read it on your screen. It says, on a pleasure boat cruising Gulf waters near Dubai's glittering skyline, so this is Dubai, a Nigerian woman, it's our people, in a white dress and gold jewelry nodded and swayed as a gathering sang happy birthday to her, which is wicked. Videos of Christy Gold's 45th birthday were posted in May last year on Instagram, her Instagram account that showcases her glamorous lifestyle months after Gold fled Nigeria, where she was facing sex trafficking charges. All right, so this sister, I'll put her picture back up. She's the one facing sex trafficking charges. Do you think she's the one having sex with her sisters in the sex trade? She's the face. They're using her to traffic those women. The customers don't look like her. The customers are Arabs. Let's go to it. But you will find scant information implicating the Arab man, because he's not going to take credit for that. He's going to say, look what these people are doing to their own people. They're trafficking them. You find that, I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina. A lot of sex trafficking over here. And the faces of the people arrested are black faces usually. And it'll be black women usually. But we know that's not the sole customers. We know that's not who's running in the outfit. It goes back to Edom. But watch this. So this is just skimming through the article. Very good article. It says, in many cases, they exploit traditional African spiritual beliefs to make victims believe that they have no choice but to do what the traffickers tell them. Look at this next paragraph. This is a quote from one of the sisters. Every time we don't bring money, this is in the United Arab Emirates, they would beat us, put pepper in our vagina, pepper in our eyes. Many of us had wounds, but we weren't taken to hospitals because they don't want people to know what they were doing to us. This is a reason I have to look at the date. This ain't long ago. This is within the last 5 years. I want to say it's 2023. Let me get the date real quick. Yes, this is June 12th, 2023. Not even 2 years ago. They're doing that. They're torturing people. The Arabs, which they got black faces on it. The Arabs are torturing people right now. And they have them in sexual slavery. Right now, you Muslims, you Nation of Islam or whoever, bow tie, like Bishop was saying, bow tie, bean pie, whatever type of Sunni Shia, what are you doing about it? They over there right now. I think I got the picture of the article too. They tell you, even though it's against their laws there, they're not doing anything about it. Matter of fact, no, I didn't get it. Crap. Sorry, didn't get it. But it reads on. I might read it just straight off my phone. It says the UAE is a major destination for sex trafficking, where African women are forced into prostitution by illicit networks operating within the country. An investigation by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists and Reuters has found. It says the Emirati authorities do little to protect these women, according to anti-trafficking activists, Nigerian authorities, and interviews with trafficked women. Nothing's done about this. You don't even hear about this. They're putting hot peppers and stuff into their private parts. That's crazy. And they got it tied up. They'll say, when you read through the article, they got them believing that the woman, that black woman, has juju, which is like a spiritual witchcraft thing in Nigeria. So you got juju, we can't leave. And the Arab man knows that and uses her to do the sex trade. And it's huge over there, thriving. And no one does anything about it. Just like over in America. The Native American and the black women in it too. West Indians, Haitians. Nothing's being done about it because you don't know about it. You just recently found out it even exists. So if you're just recently finding out, how big is it now? That it finally peaked its head up. It's been going on for hundreds of years, and now you're just not finding out about it. How thorough is that network? They're not about to stop doing it. It's been going on. They've been sex trafficking us. That's what you've seen back there in Genesis 34. They've been doing it for years, and our people have been wicked and been involved for years. It ain't about to go away. This network is just well hidden. And they got certain pawns, like this woman put her face back up there. Certain pawns, like this sister, who, yeah, she evil for what she did, but she's a pawn. She's a face. They'll arrest her. Well, she actually got away. But they'll arrest her and put the blame on her. There was a movie, The Sound of Freedom, where I think it's I forget where in South America, but basically a South American woman, one of the tribes of Northern Kingdom, they had her as the face. They had her as the connect. But it was the white men in the movie that were purchasing those women. They would fly down there, rich white men that would purchase young girls. But they had a Northern Kingdom woman, dark-skinned Northern Kingdom woman as the face, as the kidnapper, as the one that sets everything up. But she's the fall guy. But the real purchasers of the women are what? Edom. Ishmael. I think there might have been an Ishmaelite in there too. You better believe Moab is in it, because Moab's in all these countries. Moab want to get in on the action. Ammon, they want to get in on the action. They doing it too. You don't think they're making black barbershops. You don't think they messing with black women? That's why anytime you see a nation that wants to be like us or be around us, all of a sudden the damn Jimmy Choo can do a mean drop fade. He's doing it because he wants your women. He just love black culture. Everybody that goes into black culture, these rappers, got some apologetics that are trash rappers. Why do you think he do? Why do you think he doing that? You want black women. What you want a culture for? They get black women. That's what it's all about. Take our stuff and taking our women. They want to get rid of us in turn. Let me go to Judges 19. Which time I got? I ain't got a lot of time, so I'm gonna jump around just to show the impact of what kind of spirit be on us sometimes, where we will participate. Shout out to the tribe of Benjamin ahead of time. I do not apologize because it's in the Bible. This is the book of Judges, chapter 19, verse 2. Chapter 19, verse 1. It came to pass in those days that there was no king in Israel. So it was lawlessness in Israel. That there was a certain Levite sojourning on the side of Mount Ephraim, who took him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judah, which is a concubine is a lesser wife. And his concubine played the whore against him. That's the main thing, she played the whore against him. She should have been put away, but he didn't put her away. And went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem, Judah, and was there 4 months. And her husband arose and went after her to speak friendly unto her and to bring her again, having his servant with him and a couple of asses. And she brought him into her father's house. And when the father of the damsel saw him, he rejoiced in her. So he went and got the woman, which he should have put away in the first place. But it was lawlessness. I'm going to jump down. Verse 9. I'm skipping through because I'm running low on time. It says, and when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine, his lesser wife, and his servant and his father-in-law and the damsel's father said unto him, behold, now the day draweth toward evening. I pray you tarry all night. Behold, the day groweth to an end. Lodge here, and thine heart may be merry. And tomorrow get you on your way, and that thou mayest go home. But the man would not tarry that night, but he rose up and departed, and came over against Jebus, which is in Jerusalem, and there with him 2 asses saddled. His concubine also was with him. And so I'm going to jump down a little bit. All right, verse 14. So they continue on their journey. It says, and they passed on and went their way, and the sun went down upon them when they were by Gibeah, which belongeth to Benjamin. Benjamin. It says, and they turned aside thither, and to go in and to lodge in Gibeah. And when they went in, he sat him down in the street of the city, and there was no man that took them into his house to lodging. He had no place to stay. And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at even, which was also of Mount Ephraim, and he sojourned in Gibeah. But the men of the place were Benjamites. And when he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the street of the city. And the old man said, whither goest thou, and whence comest thou? So they're looking for a place to stay, and this guy comes out and say, hey, where are you going? I got a place for you to stay. He said unto them, we are passing from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the side of Mount Ephraim. From thence am I. I'm from there. And I went to Bethlehem, Judah, but I am now going into the house of the Lord, and there is no man that receiveth me to house. So he's saying, I have no place to stay. Yet there is both straw and provender for our asses, and there is bread and wine also for me, and for thine handmaid, and for thy young man, which is with thy servants. And there is no want of anything. And the old man said, peace be with thee. Howsoever, let all thy wants lie upon me. He said, I'll take you in, and anything you need, I'll provide. That's what the old man said. Only lodge not in the street. I don't want you out in the street. There's Benjamin out here. There's a bunch of Benjamites out here. I don't want you out in the street. He says, only lodge is lodged not in the street. Verse 21. So he brought him into his house and gave provender unto the asses, and they washed their feet and did eat and drink. Now as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Baal, or the devil, beset the house round about and beat at the door and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, bring forth the man that came into thine house, that we may know him. Them dudes was gay, and they wanted to rape men. That's the spirit that be on our people. And the man, the master of the house, went out after them and said unto them, nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly. Remember Leviticus 18, Leviticus 20 tell you, that's against the laws of God for men to lay with men. That's very evil. It's an abomination. It says, seeing that this man is come into mine house, do not this folly. Behold, here's my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine. Them will I bring out now, and humble ye them. Have sex with them. Again, lawlessness. And do with them what seemeth good unto you, but unto this man do no so vile a thing. But the men would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine and brought her forth unto them, and they knew her and abused her all the night until the morning. That means they raped her all night. From whatever time, 11 p.m. or whatever, till 6 a.m. That's hours. And a bunch of Benjamites. Then came the woman into the dawning of the day and fell down at the door of the man's house where her lord was, till it was light. And her lord rose up in the morning and opened the doors of the house and went out to go to his way. And behold, the woman, his concubine, was fallen down at the door of the house. So she just collapsed on the door of the house, and her hands were upon the threshold. So she just sprawled out there. And he said unto her, up, and let us be going. But none answered. Then the man took her up upon an ass, and the man rose up and got him into his place. So she picked her up. She was dead. When when he was come into his house, he took a knife and laid hold on his concubine and divided her together with her bones into 12 pieces, and sent her into all the coast of Israel. And it was so that all that saw it said, there was no such deed done nor seen from the day that the children of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt unto this day. Consider of it, take advice, and speak your minds. He said that was so bad. All the cutting of the body, that's crazy, that's wicked. But he did it. He's like, look how bad it is out here. Look what our people are doing to each other. In the next chapter, I don't got time to read it. I was going to touch on it. But on the next chapter, they go and slaughter Benjamin. They kill over 80,000 Benjamites because of that. That's how wicked and jacked up our people are when it comes to sex. And they will be involved in the sex trade in some form or fashion, like this Nigerian woman was. And you'll find the faces of the sex trade oftentimes, like I seen it in North Carolina. I know it's all throughout the West, the East, South America. It'll be the faces of our people. And they may partake in it as well. But remember, the system behind it has always been the heathen. They've always had a motive to destroy us sexually. Let's go back to Joel. I'm going to wrap it up with that. I ain't skip too much. Pray y'all getting something out of this. Joel chapter 3. And I'm going to jump down to verse 6. It says, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. You trafficked us, whether just for labor, it's oftentimes for sex too, that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. Thank God he will send our Redeemer, Jesus the Christ. When this place is blown to hell, the smithereens, as my brother says, Officer Mishael, you're going to receive your recompense on your head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off. For the Lord hath spoken it. So we're going to sell you to the Sabians, which is some other people. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. Get ready to fight, ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither, because of the mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. All these crimes. He's going to call all the heathen, white man, the Arab man, the Moabite man, the Chinese, the Korean man, the Ammonite. They're all going to be gathered. The Elamites, the East Indians, all those that participated and harmed the people, sold our people, had made unlawful marriages with our people, lusted and perverted our people, defiled our people. You're going to all gather you together, and he's going to judge the heathen. Verse 13, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. That's the place it's going to be. That's World War III. Multitudes dead. Multitudes. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened. That's a sign of war. And the stars shall withdraw from their shining. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem. And the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. So all praise to the Most High. That has been the class. There will be redemption. And they're going to pay for everything they did. So they all praise the Most High. I had to go through it a little bit fast at the end. But well, again, pray you got something out of that. Hey, I'm Officer Ray Well, IUIC Raleigh. Subscribe to IUIC Raleigh. Subscribe to the Booster Club. Sign up. Land Blitz. Do what you got to do so we can get this land. Stop being around these heathen. We got to protect our children because we go to tabernacles and there's heathen right there. You know the main thing we're worried about is they're going to snatch one of our kids up in the bathroom. So what a better way to separate from them is to invest in the Land Blitz, invest in the future to break these generational curses so that we can start redeeming our people now and cleaning up our minds from all the generational trauma we face. So, hey, that's been our time. Hey, shalom, Most High in Christ bless you all.